Hello dear students, welcome back to your biology classes. So today we will be continuing from the chapter Sustainable Management of Natural Resources Part 2. So can we get into the topic? So, importance of water. Why do we need water? And what is water is? Of course, water is one of the basic aspects of our life. So without water, life on earth is not possible. So we use water for various purposes, especially we need water for our daily needs in accordance to the agriculture. We need it for our agriculture, for transportation, constructions of buildings, especially the dams, the roads, etc. So water has become a universal solvent, and water is a natural habitat. It forms a natural habitat for the aquatic organisms. Human activities are affecting the availability of the water, and therefore it causes pollution of the water bodies, especially by all the water bodies like the rivers, ponds, lakes. So we must make sure that we don't exploit this natural resources. So next one will be how can you preserve the water? Of course, the first point will be constructing of dams. So constructing of dams is one of the added advantage for preserving the water or for managing the water. Here, why do we build dams for? Dams are normally built for irrigation of crops, especially for the agricultural purposes, and also for producing electricity. Okay, so today we all of us are enjoying in AC conditioner room. That is because of the electricity. And how this electricity is generated from? Of course, it is generated from the water. So supplying water to the towns and by the nearby cities, and also to control the floods. So these are the advantages of why are we constructing a dam and why a dam is constructed in our nation. And of course, some of the disadvantages of that is that it has certain social problems. Of course, it displaces a large number of people who have been rehabilitated. So economic problem is also one of the next point here. Here expensive use of huge amount of the public money is used, and also some of the environmental pollution it causes the deforestation, and of course the loss of the biodiversity. So these are some of the minor disadvantages of the constructing of dams. Mostly dams are a true tribute to our country. Next one, the next important topic will be water harvesting. What is water harvesting is? Of course, water harvesting is nothing but it is collecting and storing the rainwater for future use, maybe the years to come. We store it judicially. Okay, some of the common methods of the water harvestment will be digging of ponds, digging of pits, and digging of the local lakes, areas, etc. All these favors the rainwater harvesting. Of course, building small dams, small earthen dams, or some type of a concrete dams. Okay, and here constructing of reservoirs and also rooftops. The rooftop houses especially we have for collecting the water. And here the advantages of some of the groundwater will include it does not evaporate easily because it is under the ground. Once if it is under the ground, it is not exposed to atmosphere. Once if it is exposed to atmosphere, then it undergoes a process called evaporation. Since it is underground, the water will not be easily evaporated. Okay, and it is also used to spread out and recharge the wells. Of course, when supposing the wells, that is in villages we find many wells. Supposing the water is getting depleted from the well, of course these underground water will be a recharging unit for the wells. So this is the important factor, or this is one of the advantages factor as well. It provides the moisture content, especially for the irrigation of crops, and it does not pollute. The water is not polluted easily, since because it is under the ground, it cannot be polluted by any toxic of the human beings, the toxicity which is made by the human beings, and it does not provide any breeding point for the mosquitoes. It's a very good water, a clear water and a healthy water as well, isn't it? And also for the houseflies. So these are some of the important factors or important attributes of the rainwater harvesting. Next, when you talk about the petroleum, what is petroleum and coal are? Of course, they are the fossil fuels. And how do these fossil fuels are formed? They are formed by the decomposition, especially by the dead plants and animals inside the earth after several millions of years, and they are the non-renewable resources of energy. When you take the petroleum, petroleum has last about 40 years, and the coal is preserved for about 200 years. And here, what does this fossil fuel consist of? Of course, this carbon, this coal and this petroleum consist of some of the important elements like the carbons, the nitrogen, okay, the hydrogen, and also some of the sulfur. So when they are burnt, what happens? When these fossil fuels are burnt, what is happening there? They release the CO2. They release the carbon dioxide and oxides, especially which is pertaining to the nitrogen and sulfur. So when you talk about the carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, and it causes what? It causes global warming. Oxides of these two gases, especially the nitrates and sulfur, they combine together. They both combine together, and once they combine together with the moisture in the air, they produce acid rain. Okay. The next part will be how the acid rains are formed and what is this acid rain, that we are going to see here in this chapter. When you talk about the acid rain, as the name explains or as the name suggests, it can be said it is nothing but the precipitation of acids to form, which is in the form of rain. Okay, the precipitation of acids in the form of rain is in a simple form, and that is the acid rain. So when the atmospheric pollutants like the oxides of nitrogen and sulfur, when they react with the rainwater and once they come down as a rain, this results in the acid rain. Some of the causes of the acid rain, the first point will be the sulfur and the nitrogen. Here, the sulfur and the nitrogen particles, which what do they happen? They get mixed with the components of the rain. As a result, these particles, once they are mixed with the rain, they are also mixed with the water, and they are either formed in two ways. Okay, that is as the immersion, or I can tell you, they are formed as an emission that are given out from the industries, or by the natural causes like the lightning, especially takes place in the atmosphere by releasing the nitrogen oxides, and also some volcanic eruptions. What do? The volcanic eruptions, they releases the sulfur oxide. So this is how the acid rain are formed, and it is how it is released in the atmosphere. The next one will be the polar ice. So when you talk about the polar ice are nothing but they are the dome-shaped region. What are they? They are the dome-shaped region of ice, especially which is existed in the northern and in the southmost region of the planet. So when you talk about the polar regions, they exist on many platforms, including Earth and also on the Mars. So when you take the Earth, the polar ice caps, it covers about 10%. It covers about the 10% of the planet, and it is estimated about 70% of our fresh water supply. And unfortunately, due to an increasing in the global temperature, what did happen? They resulted in a gradual change in our polar regions. Here, the melting of the ice caps has a direct influence or a direct significance towards the planet's climate. Hence, it causes the global temperature. It causes the global warming or the global temperature, and therefore what happens, the greenhouses gases, the sea level, then also the coastal communities, and it affects the coastal communities and also the wildlife. So this is about the polar region. The next one, the sea level rise. So as you all know, now we are facing this threat, right? It is believed and it is said by NASA that within another 15 years or 50 years, normally they are saying that certain parts in India, especially the coastal area, will be completely washed out by the sea, and that is because of the sea level rise. And this calamity is also because of ours only, because we are taking advantage over our environment. So as we are using the modern technology and the modern processes, as we are using the modern machineries and the equipments, yesterday we saw in the earlier class that the previous class about the CFC, where the CFC is normally found in the refrigerators, or it is used as an air coolants, right? So what happens, once they are emitted inside the towards the atmosphere, it gets a great impact, right? And this causes global warming. So once the global warming is done, there is an increase in the sea level. So sea level rise is nothing but the increase in the ocean level or the sea level due to the global warming. So two factors are, I can just relate here, the two factors which is related to the global warming. The first one will be the cause or the rise in the sea level. The rise in the sea level. Melting of the ice sheets take place here, and also with the glaciers, and what happened, and the expansion of the sea waters. So what happens when it warms up? So pollution is one of the main important cause for this global warming. Why? Because as the carbon dioxide and other gases are released, how do they are released? They are released by this process into the atmosphere. So oceans, when you talk about the large water, that is the oceans absorb most of the heat. They absorb most of the heat, and the ocean waters also literally they become warmer and warmer. As a result, the ocean starts expanding itself, and there is a rise, literally a rise in the water. And of course, not only in the ocean, there is a rise also noted in the sea level. So when you take the glaciers and the ice sheets, they always present. They are present in the land, and they also affected by this important calamity called the global warming. So regions, when you talk about the regions, especially the Greenland, the Arctic region, they are covered with the ice sheets or the ice caps, I said, and they are started to melt. They are started to melt, especially in the summer. And what happens, and it is replenished again in the winter. So with an unexpected or with an abnormal rise, I can tell you, with an abnormal rise in the temperature over the globe, these glaciers and ice sheets, they experiencing, what do they experience? The amount of melting process. And of course, and they are too, it is seen in a very rapid rate. So this is about the rise in the sea level. So hope this session was very, very informative, and hope all of you understood this chapter, sustainable management. If you like this video, please share the video, subscribe to our channel 2X Ion, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up button there. So meet you all in the next chapter. Until then, it's me signing off. Take care, children.